Hey guys, it's ANicWin, also known as Amy, and happy Monday. I hope you're having a lovely day. Hope you had a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, a very safe Black Friday, all of that jazz. I know I had family. I had dinner with my family, and then on Friday I did go shopping with my mom. We go every year. We don't typically do the bargain hunting just because we don't really buy big ticket items. We're not the kind of family that gives like big ticket gifts for Christmas. We just never have been. But we do go shopping because she still works and I work, and it's just a day that we both happen to have off and we can get a lot accomplished. I don't know why I'm justifying it as if I'm not allowed to go, but here we are. I've worked in retail before. I no longer work in retail, so I'm very familiar with the circus, that is Black Friday and then Christmas, the holiday season. I just know. I know what it's like. I get it. I feel it. Anywho, here we are today with a restricted build. Now, this is obviously base game, but I'm also including the use of 3 kits. So I'm using the Desert Luxe kit, which we did get for free if you were lucky enough to snag it when it was available. I think that was about a month ago, maybe 2. I think it was in October though. Don't quote me on that. I'm terrible with linear time, so I could be wrong. I really feel like it wasn't that long ago though. So I'm using that one because it was free. I feel like a lot of people got it. And then I'm using the 2 most recent ones. So we've got the Pastel Pop Kit and the Everyday Clutter Kit. Now, I've said it already, and I'll say it again even after using it. The Pastel Pop Kit is just not my style. It's not my taste. I struggled really, really hard to use it and feel good about it. Now, I do like the room that I used it in. I think it's very cute. It looks nice for the age level that I was imagining was going to be living in there. I don't see me using that in my personal gameplay, but I could see myself using some of the pieces in future builds. Struggle through that. But I mean, that comes down to a preference thing, right? I don't really love the Desert Luxe kit either. There are some items in there that are really good. There are some items in there I'll probably never touch. It just is what it is. And then the Everyday Clutter Kit, I don't know if I've used every single item. Probably not. I like what they gave us. I think there's a lot of repeats. Like the glasses show up on multiple things. I don't know. Honestly, personally, I don't know if it was worth the $4.99 they charged, but I do like it. Anyway, this is not a kit overview, but my rationale here, just to see if you can pick up what I'm putting down as I talk all the way through the landscaping. My rationale is if it's 2022, I'm just starting out with The Sims 4. I bought the base game. I want to dive into DLC. Most likely, especially if my budget is stretched thin, I'm going to go for a kit. They're cheaper. They're little bite-sized bits of content that you can use for multiple things. There's one gameplay one, which I'm still salty about because, hello, where are the others? There's plenty of cast kits, but there's also several build kits. So it's a good jumping in point. I don't know if marketing was thinking of that. Probably not. I think they were just phasing out stuff packs. But regardless, it's a good little handy, happy accident there. So that's what I'm thinking. Personally, I'm a collector. I have every single piece. That's not me flexing, because I know I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I can have all of the packs, but I've been purchasing them since the release, like one at a time. I did not buy them all at once. That would be an astronomical price. I don't think anybody could do that or should do that. And I also wouldn't recommend buying anything full price if you don't have to, but I was at a point where The Sims 2 no longer worked on Windows, and The Sims 3 was just not my favorite. I didn't love the art style. I really didn't like The Sims 3. I didn't connect to it the same way other people did. Sims 2 was my favorite. And then when The Sims 4 released, I just jumped on because I was just not loving The Sims 3. So I bought it. I collected things as we went because I was starving for more content. And that's really how we got here. That's why we have all of the things that we have. I also am a collector of things in general. I'm like a little pack rat. Like, if I enjoy something, I will buy all of the things. So I'm like that. Musical artists I enjoy, I buy their CDs or vinyls, sometimes both. DVDs. If I like a specific actor, actress, I buy those. I'm not saying this is something you should like model your life after. You probably shouldn't. It's just one of my character flaws. Or maybe it's a quirk. You decide. Anyway, so that was my rationale. That was a really long-winded way of saying that's what I thought people would be more likely to do. They'd be more likely to buy a kit over, or a stuff pack even, over an expansion pack or a game pack unless they were on sale. So that was a really long-winded way of saying that. Now you saw the exterior. I believe everything out there except for the chair on the porch is base game. The interior, that kind of stays true until we get to the bedrooms and then some of the clutter. So those kits are used. You could still download this if you only had base game and you wouldn't be missing a ton. Mostly you'd be missing some of the clutter in the living room and the bedrooms. The kids' bedroom would probably be mostly empty, but everything else would be relatively filled out. It wouldn't be hard to add whatever it is you're missing. So I did try to be kind of semi-aware of that. I don't know why, but here we are. So I talked through the bathroom and the hallways. The entryways were kind of fun to do. I think they look a little bit more homey, a little more lived in with that little hook where you put your keys and your bags and stuff like that. I love stuff like that. What would you call it? A wall tree? I think that's what it's called. I have a very tiny one next to my back door, but I've always had one, even in the house I grew up in. There was always something where you could hang your coat, you could hang your keys, you could, you know, do whatever it is you needed to do by the door so you weren't like, where are my keys? And running around the house. So it's very nostalgic for me, very practical. The bathroom, I used the Raw collection. I think that's base game. It's one of my favorite ones. I didn't do anything fancy with the bathroom. I usually don't, and I'm okay with that. Honestly, I've accepted it. And then here we are in the kitchen. Now, my original intent was to try to make this a starter home. It's not. It's starter home size. It's not starter home budget. I think the budget's probably somewhere between 40 and 50K. So it's kind of up there. I was kind of surprised by how expensive it was. But I feel like I sunk most of my costs into probably the artwork. And honestly, it's probably the kitchen and the living room are the two most expensive rooms. As I hiccup, are we surprised? We're not at all. But yeah, I mean, I had to clutter it up. I wanted it to look lived in. So I wasn't necessarily strict with myself for the budget goal. And I wasn't really intending to have a goal. I wanted to try. Like, if it ended up being a starter home, great. If it didn't, I wasn't going to lose any sleep. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully you do. But yeah, so that was the kitchen. The kitchen's pretty simple. You'll notice I skipped right over the living room. I tried and failed and was like, I'll just have to come back because I don't know where this is going. And so we jump here into the kids' room. I haven't talked about the family at all. I'm a little bit rusty, forgive me. So I'm just imagining a family of three. It's a couple. They can consist of whatever combination of parents you want them to consist of, or maybe one's not a parent. Maybe we have a step parent or a significant other situation. That one's totally up to you, but whomever, somebody is raising a child, a female child, age-wise, I'd say probably between the ages of 8 and 12, right? Like they're in that zone. They're kind of preteen, not quite teen, so this is still a very youthful room. I feel like their parents moved here and they gave her creative license with decor within a budget, right? They were like, okay, you can pick the colors, you can pick the patterns, you can have whatever. This is your room. I want you to be comfortable. Maybe they've moved here. It's a new city. Sky's the limit on that, but they definitely gave her creative freedom, whatever the case. So she chose this accent wall, which I think is actually very cute. And the blue swatch is the only swatch that I enjoyed. And then I paired it with purple just because there were purple in the flowers. I had it originally paired with blue and it was too blue. It was too much, too bright. And then I decided to go with the yellow bed frame with the green and blue. I know that doesn't match anything else, but I felt like the yellow was going to be a good accent as well with the purple. And I'm happy with that decision because I think I end up making the mirror that we're about to place on the wardrobe is yellow. I'm going to swap it here in a minute because I didn't like the yellow wardrobe. And that yellow chair with the yellow lamp, I felt like the yellow, it happens, it occurs in the room enough that it feels like a really natural accent color to lean towards. I could be, talking out of my butt right now. It was a decision I made. May not be the best one. I don't know, but I just went with it. I really am pleased with how this room turned out. I really like it. I think it's chaotic. I think it's the perfect kind of environment for a kid who is, getting to know themselves and figuring out kind of what they like, who they are, what they enjoy, all that kind of stuff. Then we move on to the master bedroom. Now, okay, this one's going to be spliced. I'm going to do half of it. We'll cut away to the living room and we come back to this one just because I lay everything out and then I didn't like it. It didn't sit well with me, with my spirit. And I had to walk away. Literally, I had to pump the brakes, pause the build. I left for a full day, came back and was like, right, I'm going to do the living room and think about it. I'm going to chew it over. And then I popped back in here and redid it. So this mostly stays the same and you'll see the changes. But I shuffle things around. So I didn't like that the bed was right there when you open the door, mostly because I couldn't add a second nightstand thing because the door, just where it's placed, there wasn't room. You weren't going to be able to get in the room. I also don't really like when you open a door and the bed's the first thing you walk into. I've had my bedroom laid out like that and it's very awkward. It's very uncomfortable. The other thing I didn't like is that little floor shelf thing. I wanted a dresser. I could have easily just swapped it for a dresser. But when I just smacked like my teeth. But when I swapped the layout of the room, and you'll see it, I feel like it makes more sense. There's more like feng shui. It just looks better, in my opinion. Obviously, feel free to disagree. We're all friends here. You do not have to have the same opinion I have. But yeah, so we're moving into the living room. Now this space is going to be a living, dining, catch-all space, kind of like there will be a bookshelf, some skill building items as well. I didn't go too in depth with the skill building. I kind of decided that somebody was into music. Maybe they're an entertainer. Don't know who. So I do include a guitar. There are some like posters and stuff like that one where there are musical inspirations, references. I don't know. It's been a long day. Forgive me. Anyway, there are hints to what the family might be into in the room. However, I feel like I give you enough space that if you don't like that direction, you can just sort of get rid of that, replace it with something else that you prefer. There's definitely wiggle room to kind of really customize the space. At least I tried. And I did put the living room here kind of on an angle, so the couch is not flush against the wall. That made me really uncomfortable, didn't like it, didn't want to do it. And then I angled the TV and I have the chair angled. This just feels a little bit more organic to me. It felt more realistic. It felt more homey. I also have to point out that I hate that candle. I hate it so much. And I know hate's a strong word. You really shouldn't use it, but I do. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it in every color. But I really wanted a candle on this table, so I went with it. But I regret most things about that decision. And let me tell you why. I don't hate it because it came with the pastel kit or because I think it's ugly, but I do. I hate it because it reminds me of the snake scene in Beetlejuice where he's like a sandworm thing. That might be a niche reference, but it makes me violently uncomfortable and I don't like it. And I will probably never touch that candle in the catalog again. I'm fully aware that is like a personal issue that I probably should work on, but it makes me uncomfortable. I can't explain it, except I just did, but I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. I'm almost 30. That really might be a reference none of you get. Anyway, we're working on the dining room now. If I keep it pretty simple, I initially was going to use the 4-top table, the little square one with the chairs all the way around. It looked a little too cramped in here. I decided to go with this long one that I could shove up against the wall. I actually ended up really liking this because that table really wasn't going to fit in the kitchen and I didn't want to put it in the entryway, although if I got rid of that wall, I could have put it there and it would have been fine. It would have looked okay. But I liked the floor plan being kind of closed off, separated. I like designated spaces. I don't really like an open floor plan. So I wanted to stick to that because it's what my original vision was, if you'll forgive me. And then here we are moving around the master bedroom. So you can you can see I swapped the bed. The chair in the corner I think stays, the lamp goes, the bedside table goes, and then I place a dresser and I think one painting leaves. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to leave you here to watch the build, or watch the rest of the build in the screenshots. As always, feel free to leave a like or comment down below letting me know what you think. You can also subscribe if that's something that would spark joy for you. I will see you on Monday with my next video, and in the meantime, I hope you have a lovely day and a lovely rest of your week. As always, I know I'm saying this out of order, as always, the screenshots will be on Instagram and the tray files will be on Sims File Share linked below, and it will be up on the gallery as well. Bye guys!
Please don't beat around the bush, and I don't want to push, but you're making this hard. I know something's going on, there's dishes in the sink and trash in the front yard. Tell me, what can I do? Do I go for a walk? Should I stay with you? I'm tired of sitting on my hands, watching what I love wilt like a houseplant. Do you feel alone in our home? 'Cause I